Hey people, here's your free kick in the nuts. If you don't know what a free kick in the nuts is, it's learning the lesson without the pain. If you don't understand, if you never licked your little sister's ice cream, you learn what not to say without all the pain that goes with it. So I've known since I was born that I was an antichrist, and I never cared anything about religion. I was getting older. About 10 years ago, I decided that, I've been building all my life, and I want to know how they built all the giant megalithic structures. I've been building all my life, moving heavy loads. I've worked on the world's largest heavy lift ship, the new Cormorant. I've moved the world's largest loads, and we can't do it today. We can't do it. And, we can't do it on water, especially on land. And so I just Googled the world's oldest books. I knew there was some ancient hidden knowledge. And the most complete ones I could find was the Bible, the old Hebrew Bible. And so I started studying the Bible and trying to pick out the language, because I knew it had been changed. The story says it was changed. And while I was doing it, I compare it to the old Greek Septuagint. And I learned the Greek some through that. And then lately, I just went straight to the Greek to read the New Testament. There's no Hebrew New Testament. And I found, after learning that Hebrew, it was a lot easier to pick up on that Greek. I picked it up real quick. And I found some of the secrets in the alchemy, in the writings. And so I'm going to teach y'all how to read this ancient Greek and spot the secrets in it that tell how to read it and point you along the way. I'm going to start right here at Matthew 1. So this Matthew 1, it looks like this, and they say it's the genealogy to Jesus from Abraham through David, from Abraham. And the clues are here. These ones out here. And it goes on down, and I read a little bit of this down here after yesterday in that Kick in the Nuts flick. But I'm going to read it in this other Bible so you can get a better view of these words. So their interpretation, they says this is the book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, son of David, son of Abraham. And then it starts with Abraham begat Isaac, begat Jacob, begat. And so the first thing to learn is this Abraham. And so this Abraham, it's A-B-R-A-A-M. So in the Hebrew, in Genesis 16, it's just spelled A-B-R-M. And then it was later when the name was changed, and they added an E to it. In Genesis 17:5, and your name no longer Abram, but is now Abraham. They just added this E between the R and the M. And in the Greek, in the Septuagint, no longer be called Abram. It had one A in it. And it was changed to A-B-R-A-A-M. But it's missing the punctuation in here. It's missing this little comma that comes before the name here. And you see, it's before many of these names. And then it's turned backwards on sometimes. Some of the names is turned backwards. Same way here. It's turned the other way here. So this is the same here as this by receipt, in receipt, bara, B-R-A. And anything in the Hebrew, when it starts with the A, you read that word backwards. Mayel, B-R-A-M. So it's the same Brahm here. So if you study, you'll see that Ramiel was the first fallen angel to help Lucifer. And so that's what that means, is in Ramiel. And that's why all your gods, or all the angels, have that Miel in them, Ramiel and Lamiel, because that's the name of God. That's the last name. And so it's in the Ram word, But this Abraham is the same as this Brahma here. And so the Hindus, they really don't get it either. There's a couple things they get in there. If you just Google Brahma images, the first thing you notice is, he's always sitting on purple. They got a whole lot of purple associated with him. And he's usually looking in both directions. But he's one of the principal deities of Hinduism, and his importance has declined in recent centuries. And he was self-born, associated with creation, knowledge, Vedas. referred to as the creator. So he's as tall as the arch, standing barefooted, and he's toting something in his hand, and it kind of changes up. And you can see here, it looks like what he's toting looks like a mace, and sometimes it looks more like a paintbrush. Sometimes he's holding an old Chinese book, and it's just a twig. He's often pictured with a bunch of chickens. It's where a Brahma chicken got its name. And so back in the day, chickens were only raised for magic mostly. And sometimes you see the other side of that, and you see it's a spoon. So I can't find it now, but I was looking earlier, and I found an image where he was carrying something that looked just like this. It's just a twig, it's just a stick. And so this is Siso. So what that's called is a broom, and in German it'd be a bessen or just a stick, and it's actually called a Morse broom. This is the English-German dictionary. It has Morse as negr, as in black magic, or a cock or fowl, a foul broom, a cock broom. So if you Google Morse hat, the first thing it's going to show is these old purple hats. That's where your word maroon come from, with a broom on them. And a Lady Morse hat, is a witch's hat, usually with a peacock feather on it. But that's known as the Morse hat, Morse. And so several movies back, I was talking about the feather in the hat, the pimp, when it says, and he was corrupted as a feather in your hat. And so this comma, when it sits this way, it means to read this word backwards and forwards, just like the hyphen in the Hebrew. And so that's what this is a morin broom. A morin broom. And that's a witch's broom, and it's not for sweeping. It's for sweeping away the evil spirits when you're going to cast a potion. They'll swish it around, a stick or a feather or whatever. And back in the day, magic was, anybody who did something that you didn't understand. If you were trying to figure out how far the cannonball was going to shoot, and somebody took their stick and started figuring numbers in the sand, that was magic. But, this is the Biblos, the book of the genes, and then E is those, the genes, those. And then this says to read this backwards and forwards, so this is a W-O-S-H. The genes, those, wash. And you'll notice a lot of the words, in the Greek, they turn around the O and the A. To wash. And then backwards the other ways. Each so cross to, the cross. Each so cross to, via to, by way of, to, divide, by way of, to, the Morin broom. And the Moors were a member of the northwestern African Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent. In the 8th century, they conquered the Iberian Peninsula, finally driven out their last stronghold in Grenada in the end of the 15th century. A Greek word from Moros, inhabitant of the Mauritania. It's where the witch's broom come from. When witches riding her broom, it don't mean she's leaving. It means she's fixing to cast a spell and to pick up that old duster just to run the evil spirits out before you start mixing up your brew. And so that's what's going on here. This is the Morin broom. So this is this constellation, Cephas. And you can see it's just now fixing to pull in. Here's the 0 line, and our procession's moving this way. So it's just now fixing to pull in with Aquarius. And this line doesn't belong here. You can see if you remove this line and just these lines here, it's this crown of the north of Egypt. Crown of the north. So it's named after the Cephas, the king of Ethiopia in Greek mythology. And it's the home of the hyperluminous quasar. Quasar is the most powerful thing in the galaxy. 10,000 times more massive than the central black hole of the Milky Way. And this is where they draw it up in the sky. And that was King Cephas, the father of Cassiopeia, and him and his daughter and his wife were all sitting up in the same spot. So the people, that were in the know, they had the news. And so you just remember, NEWS, news, north, east, west, south. So by blows, the four winds, by blows, genes those wash, each so cross to, via, by way to, divide, by way to the mooring broom. So you start at the north at the mooring broom. And the mooring broom, the edge and no scent on, the edge and no scent on, the edge on, the nose scent on, and then backwards and forwards again. The koozie sack. This reads as a O, the same as it does here. Koosi. The koozie sack. The koozie sock. And so this is north. This is east. So that's why his old hat, he got old purple hat on. And so this was the center. And so everything written on here is backwards. You see everything. It's been reversed. So in order to go east, we have to go west here. And so we're going to go 3 places. 30 degrees between each set of lines. So go 1, 2, 3. And so this is his son Isaac. The story about the sacrifice of the lamb. And you can see in his name here, this is El Kuchi. El Kuchi. The koozie. And so this is the set of stars that you're going to see in the winter now. You see when the sun's here, it's up high. This is the summer. And so this is what you're going to see in the winter now, up in the middle of the sky. And then the koozie sack through the edge and nose sent on the book. B-O-K. The book jackin. The book jackin. And so over here in the west, 1, 2, 3. We're looking down at the Milky Way is what we're looking at. We're looking at this big river. We're looking at this river. This is the Milky Way. You see it's here. This is the Milky Way. And so 1, 2, 3 more. This is the west. And this is the book jack. It's called Le Altar. The altar. And so, every time it talks about burnt sacrifices on the altar, the altar is that thing that your preacher stands up and puts the book on when he's preaching at you. That's an altar. And the fire that comes out of that is the knowledge in the book. Fire, light is knowledge. The light from the book jack, the west. So that's your news. N-E-W. And S is going to be 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So the book jack in the book jack of through the genus, through the gen nose in it on nada. This is backwards again. The nada and the O is to see, the ion. Nada see you, Y-O-U. Nada see you on. Y-O-U apostrophe D. Nada. Will not see you on. And so what it's saying is you can't see this south point of the Milky Way. Nada is nothing. Nothing see you on. So this is El Kucher, the little El Kuchi. And he sits right here on Taurus horns. And the west, the altar, it's sitting right here at Scorpio's tail. So I'm sitting down here in South Mississippi at 30 degrees. So if I go out at night and I look up north, at 30 degrees I'll see the North Star. And so just above that, I'll see Cephas here. The cease. And so over here in the east, I'll Isaac over here at the bull's horns. And over here in the west, I'll see Jacob. But in order to see the south, I can never see the south end of this. I'll have to go down to the equator. You see how it's coming up here? I can never see the south. And so what I have to do is I have to use some other stars that point at it. So what that's telling me is whoever's writing this book, they come from the north. So I'm sitting at 30 degrees in Mississippi, and I can look up and I can watch all these stars spin around the North Pole. And so this line here is the Milky Way. And this is our ecliptic. This is everything it's on our ecliptic where the suns rise and set. There's just a spot underneath here I can't see as it goes around. Unless I remove the earth and I can see it. Or if I was to go down south, I could see it there. You know, everything it's under this circle I can't see. And so he's telling you, here's the north and the east and the west, and just know that the south's down there, but you can't see it. And so you can tell about where it is. This is Centaurus. That's where your word center come from. Centaurus. And this is going up the river. Here's Canis, and here's Orion. This here in Orion's belt, this represents the 3 pyramids in Egypt. And this Betelgeuse over here, this represents the Sphinx. And so this Sirius, this is Canis I. There's a star over here called Mizraim, or Merzim. And it's actually the same word as Egypt in the Hebrew Bible, except they're reading it backwards, as in Mazrim, Mazrym, but they're reading it backwards. This is the way it's supposed to be read. The Myersum, admires, Myers, swamp, quagmire, the Myersum, and usually it's read backwards and forwards. Usually always has tack in front of it. But that's why they built the pyramids. They were time travelers. And they knew somebody was going to be telling this lie about this being Egypt over here. And it's not. This is Mizraim over here. And so this is puppies. This is the poop deck of the boat down there. This is vela. This vela, that's Latin for the sail. And we have to remove the earth to see the carnia. That's the hull of the ship. And so that's what they're saying, that you cannot see it. It's there. You can't see it, but you just know it's there. So you got your north, south, and north, east, and west, and just know the south's there, even though you can't see it. This is the poop deck. This is the back of the boat back here. And this is the hull down here on the south. All right, here's Jacob. 1, 2, 3 down here in the hull at the bottom. And so these are 3 great pyramids in Kemet. This is the Sphinx here. This is the River Nile. This is up the river this way. This is Ethiopia up here. Cassiopeia, that's Ethiopia. And her dad was king of Ethiopia. And her mother there. And brother El Kuchi, Isaac. And so the reason they built those pyramids, that was time traveling. They knew somebody was going to be telling this lie on them. They wanted everybody to know that no. This is Mizraim right here. This is Egypt. And so Canny pulls the boat backwards with his tail. And so that's what's causing the precession of the equinox, is Canny. And you can see right here, via the way of the latte, of the milk. The way of the milk. And so milk is your Hebrew word for kings. And so it's talking about all the Milky Way, the king's way. And so on the other side of the river from Egypt over here, you got your Cancer, and that's what's happening over there right now. Leo and Cancer. And you got Israel creating Cancer over there, wanting to get at the Gaza Strip. It's the Gaza Strip over here. This represents the house of Ramesses over here. It was on the other side of of the river. And it's a unicorn. And it's an ancient worldwide sign for homosexual. If you got a purple unicorn tattooed on you, you're a marked man. You can see it on this old map here, the Mizraim, they call it. It actually reads backwards most of the time you see it, the Myers from. And then on the other side, the House of Ramesses. That's the river running down. It's the Nile, the Milky Way, King's Way. And this is what they call the land of Palestine, P-L-S-T-I-M or S. And this is everything that Israel's claiming. But this is the real Israel over here. It was just this little town. And they say it's Jezreel, I-Z-R-O-L-E. And that's a lot closer to Israel. But the land of milk and honey was actually over here at Greece. It's on the other side. This over here around Crete. The dibs, the honey, and the helb, the milk. So it's saying that you got the mooring broom and the koozie sock and the book jack in and the nada to see you would on. What to use? The adel of, A-D-E-L-Q, adel of house, to see use, the adel of house, what to. And so adel, that means noble. Adel, meaning noble. Hebrew, Old German origin, noble. These are the four noble houses. The adel of house, what to. And then you see this, Judas reads a little different back here. Nada to see you would on, what to use, the noble of house, what to. And then it ends with an S now, but it still has the mark. And so it still reads backwards. So do see you would as, Y-O-U-D, you would as, the edging on nose in it on, the fours, Q-A-R-E-S, fours. The fours what on Zara. Zara will be. K-Sarah, Sarah. Whatever will be, will be. What on will be of this. E-K-L, of, not out of, but just of. Will be of this, the mar. The mar, the waters. You see here the Mar, Barbados. And you can see in this old 1500 map that they had Babylonia. They had the Tower of Babylon was Moorish over here. And Jerusalem was Christian. And in this old David Rumsfeld map, it looked like a Buddha, a purple Buddha on the book jack. And it looks more like a book jack here. Something you use to lean your books up on to read. And Cephas is holding just a magic wand here, a stick. And Isaac over here still got his goat with him. And you can see that his hat is more like a koozie sock. The Mars have always been the waters on all the old maps. And so the fours what on will be of this, the Mar. And fours the edging has sent on. And you see that this comma turns the other way now. You see here in Judas, the tail is to the left. Now the tail's to the right. And so that means just read this word backwards. You don't read it back the other way. And so it's now Morse, M-O-R-S-E, Morse. And the fours, the edge has sent on Morse. And the best place to find this word is in this old German dictionary. Morse is an English word. And the German says it means das Walrus and a Seepferd. And so walrus, it sounds like a walrus there. But a sheepford is a seahorse. And if we go down to the German side of this dictionary, they'll acknowledge here that a walrus is a seahorse. And the old stories talk about it running with Poseidon and Neptune and hanging out with the dolphin. And a sheepford's also a nereid, the 50 sea nymph daughters of Nereus. The old man of the sea. They were goddesses of the sea-rich bounty and protectors of sailors and fishermen, come to the aid of those in distress. Individually, they represented various facets of the sea, from salty brine to the sea foam, sand, rocks, waves, currents, as well as various skills possessed by seamen. And so, they were depicted in ancient art as beautiful young maidens. That doesn't mean that's what they were. That means that's what they was depicted as. Sometimes running with small dolphins, or else riding on the backs of dolphins. And now they got the dolphins, meaning the hippo, the horse. Hippocampo, meaning the seahorse. They're saying now the dolphin's a seahorse. And you just look at it, M means water, horse, water horse. And so it most likely means a ship, a water horse, something you ride in the water. It was a mythological creature shared by the Phoenician, Etruscan, the water people. The upper body of a horse, the lower body of a fish. A seahorse. They say the appearance of the hippocampi in both fresh water and salt water is counterintuitive to the modern audience. The seahorses only stay out there in the salt water. But a boat, a Morse, a water horse, a Morse can go either where. And so all these archaeologists, they just ain't really that bright. But I just want to get that far and show you how this reads the other way now, just Morse. It don't read both ways. And then again at Aram, it turns the other way again. And so you've been kicked in the nuts by the Antichrist. Good day.